Hello and welcome, fellow awesomeologists, to Awesomeology. I'm Sue.
And I'm Ben, and in this episode, we're bringing you our predictions for 2024.
Yes, we were already in the groove. We were predicting. No, we were doing lists.
We were doing
Do I
lists.
know what we were doing?
It's tough to tell.
Maybe it's hard. It's tough to tell if I know. I think it should be really obvious I don't.
You kind of set yourself up for that one.
Yeah. So we've cooked up our top 3 predictions for 2024, nonetheless. Whether you can tell what's going on with me or not. You do know that I have notes with 3 predictions on them.
I do know that.
Yes. Will we be right? We're pretty darn smart,
We'll see.
but only time will tell.
Right. Yeah. If we're right, we'll do a recap episode at the end of next year. If we're not, you'll probably never hear from us about these topics again.
We'll just forget we talked about it.
Right.
That's the way to go.
That's how you do it.
Yes. Marketing.
All
Kick
right,
us
so
off.
We're diving right in.
We're
huh?
doing it.
All right.
We're doing it. Unless you have more you want to talk about.
I don't. I guess I will just maybe frame up my predictions at least and say I had this tough time of like not making everything a hot take, like going super bold or something. I think all mine are pretty realistic.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. I think so,
Okay.
but we'll see. Time will tell, right?
Okay. Well, as long as you're starting with a disclaimer, I tried to go positive
Mm-hmm.
and like predict things that are going to largely create positive change.
Yeah.
And at least one of the 3 of mine, I'm like, I don't actually think that's true.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll let you
You
guess.
don't think that its positivity is true?
I
Okay.
don't actually think that it's sort of me trying to manifest this thing.
Yeah.
So
I think 2 of my 3, and then we will get into it. 2 of my 3 are clearly 2 of my 3 could be taken either way.
okay.
One of them is definitely, I think, just positive, but we'll see. We'll see what people think. I
Okay.
guess. All right. So first one, I think that there will be an increased emphasis on personalization and privacy. Now, this might not be like, this is definitely not a hot take. You know, we've been talking about personalization for a long time. Privacy seems to be covered, talked about, put front of mind for people all the time. And I think it's going to increase. I guess maybe that's the prediction or the hot take, and might be even tough to wrap your head around is like, how can we increase our awareness or the delivery of personalization and privacy, right? It seems like we're
Right.
doing our best to do those things all the time, always now, right?
Right.
But I think as things like data breaches continue to happen, as people get better and better at personalization, that like creepometer will continue to go up, and that's going to like question people's or that's going to make people like question their privacy, their security, and all of that. And so I think it's just going to like continue to increase. And I think that as people get smarter and smarter and see more and more things that are personalized to them, people are like, I think, used to remarketing now and some of the things that were creepy at once. I think as that just continues to be more and more the norm, we see more and more of it, more and more marketers get better at it. I think people's like BS meters are just like cranked up, and they're going to see through the personalization. They're going to see through what I think at one time was like a cool trick that marketers could do. And everybody just is going to kind of understand like, well, that's just how that's how I receive my marketing now. It's personalized now.
Right.
You know, and so it's going to be less special. So we're going to have this challenge of, we're still going to have to do it. Don't get me wrong. But I think we're going to have this challenge of how do we continue to create a special experience that feels personalized and like we actually care about the people that we're marketing to. And I'm really generalizing here. We definitely care about the people that we're marketing to, but there's a lot of people that don't. They're just, fish in the sea trying to sell them something, right? But yeah, so we'll see what it looks like, right? But I think it's going to be heightened both on the marketer's side and the people receiving this information. There's just this extra awareness and sensitivity to it all that's going to happen, I think.
Okay. I'll buy that. I actually was thinking something along those lines, and what a place I want to get to in terms of personalization is I want, like, between us as marketers and the people receiving the messages, I want us to find that middle ground where you don't feel unsafe,
Hmm.
but I can still know you like hazelnut creamer in your coffee
Right.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it not because that's not private data, but I do think that people have gotten sort of conflated all together.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
a marketer calling you by name and knowing that you at least researched a purchase
Yeah.
isn't inherently dangerous
Right.
as long as they're ethical.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Um, and I guess that's the question.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking for myself, I think as long as there's a value add, and this I think is where it gets down to a matter of opinion or people's personal preferences. Like for me, and I'm a marketer, so I know I'm biased, but I think when I see a personalized ad and they clearly know that I was researching something that I'm looking to buy, I see it as a convenience. Like, oh, you're sending me other options that maybe I haven't
Mhm.
considered or additional educational material that might help inform my purchase, like as best as I can. And sure, maybe also influence me to spend more or buy this product over that product or whatever. But at the end of the day, that I think that decision is still up to me,
Right.
and I have control over that, and it can get messy,
Mhm.
because of these tactics and stuff. So I definitely see both sides to it, but I think as long as it's bringing me additional information and education and like value in the thing that I'm dedicating my money to, I'm
Mhm.
cool with it. And I think along with that, like I don't need catchy email title or hyper personalized graphic or
Mhm.
something. And honestly, I imagine that the majority of people don't necessarily care about that stuff. They want to know like what are you going to do for me? What is your product going to do for me?
Right.
What is your service going to do for me? And if that is a personalized experience so that people are understanding exactly the value that it brings to their lives and that's done in a personalized way, I don't think people will care about that at all.
Mhm.
They'll actually appreciate it, I guess, going back to similar category of what I was just talking about.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, it comes back to that classic idea of, the what's in it for me, what are the benefits of the thing,
right,
and no amount of plugging my name into the email subject line.
right.
Yeah, it really connects those pieces for me.
Hmm. Yeah,
And that's probably what turns me off. Oh, so you know my name,
right.
but
Yeah,
you don't like there's all of this other stuff you don't know.
yeah.
And also I don't want you to. So what are you going to do, Mark?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sidebar, but related and maybe a bit down into the weeds, thinking of that like custom email experience and really any custom ad. Um, what I think is something that marketers have to figure out. Maybe some have and some do it well, and we just don't see it or hear it enough. Um, it's like, how can we make sure that we're actually serving relevant information to people? Like, if I'm researching purchasing an electric vehicle, I make that purchase. It annoys the crap out of me for the next 6 months when I still get information about considering buying an electric
Right.
vehicle or whatever. It's like,
Right.
no, I bought that thing a long time ago and you knew I was shopping for it. So you should somehow know that I bought it. Right. So, like, how do we, really personalize it down to the point of, um, again, maybe another level of creepiness, but
Mhm.
one that at least gives me relevant information.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Awesome. Good start.
hey, thanks.
Strong.
Yeah,
Starting
strong,
strong.
real strong.
So, I don't know. I think looking at our list here, I think we were really like vibing on a wavelength here. So, my prediction is that AI is going to become quote unquote normalized. I
Sure.
think it was a big, scary unknown at coming into this year. We had seen it coming,
Hmm.
right? But it wasn't until we started to see, Chat GPT and some of the things that were possible,
Yeah.
um, that we got what is that? What is the term? The uncanny valley. Have you ever heard of the uncanny valley?
Mm-mm.
I think it's really more like a visual phenomena.
Okay.
But it's the feeling when you look at something that is close to being human, but not human,
Hmm.
right? So it just is there's a particular I probably described it poorly.
Okay.
I This is just me saying words I
It's
know.
the squinty face that I'm giving you that the listener can't see.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry, I'm just confused. It's not
Okay.
you, it's me.
Yes. So I think this is a similar thing. It's that uncanny valley feeling of there is something not right about that, even though it has all of the features I would expect it to have,
Mm, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, and even even you and I have we had at the beginning of the year we had a whole podcast about AI
yeah.
and expressed some concerns, but now we've already transitioned to the like, what are we going to do with it?
Right.
How do we leverage this?
Yeah.
Um, and knowing that we're thinking, let's normalize this. Let's make it help us with our workflow.
Hmm.
Let's be the human beings controlling this thing
Yeah.
to benefit ourselves.
Right. For sure.
That my prediction is that if not by the end of 2024, in 18 months, whatever, like we will have moved on to our next fear,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yeah.
And it will AI
Well,
will be
it'll be
normalized.
an election year, so I mean,
Right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that normalizing AI is my
yeah,
prediction.
love it. Yeah, it it is interesting, like the title of normalizing AI because it does already feel kind of normal as much as we've been talking about it and interacting with it, and gosh, if that doesn't just like tell the story of like the pace of things and the pace
Mhm.
of change, right? Like, 10 months ago we were having an episode like, hey, let's talk about this thing that's
Yeah.
pretty new and not a lot of people are talking about, to now we're like, yeah, okay, it'll just be normal next year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
super interesting. But yeah, I think you're onto something there for sure. Well, in the realm of AI, my next prediction is that ChatGPT will be bested. And I guess I'll just say it might already be. It's just I don't know if enough people are aware of what is better, right?
Mhm.
And there's a whole bunch about this that I don't understand, so I'll admit that. But how people use things like ChatGPT, whether it's using ChatGPT on the web or some sort of integration or API connection to it using ChatGPT alongside some other system, like we already know about how bringing AI, whether it's through OpenAI or some other service, into your own systems, like can just blow up your operation
Mm.
and create all these cool opportunities for you. What inspired this one, admittedly, is a whole bunch of recency bias and our teammate Pam introducing us to Gemini
Mhm.
yesterday. So I watched the TikTok that she shared with us, and yeah, it's crazy. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
Don't tell Pam.
Okay, that's fine. Well, by time Pam knows, you'll have seen it,
I
I'm
will have
sure.
seen it,
But
yes.
but yeah,
And I'm gonna
it's
pretend I never said this.
yeah. Okay,
So
well, it's on record. Sorry, but yeah, no, it's amazing, and I think it's different. It's less like insert prompt and get result.
Mhm.
It's really kind of observational at the same time. So I won't say anything else, but um, all this to say, I think that as right back to that conversation about the rate of change being incredibly fast and everything. Not only were we just talking about like how AI might come into our lives a bit more 10 months ago, now we're talking about the AI that a lot of us were talking about being one upped, and
Mhm.
it's only going to continue. People are going to continue to compete in this space and develop, and it's going to get connected to things that we're using. I told a story yesterday in the meeting where we were introduced to Gemini about my wife using it at work. She's a teacher, and just how it can help, create so many efficiencies for a job like that. So um, to see what it's going to look like in a year is,
Mhm.
I'm not going to try and predict that because I can't even wrap my head around that, and it's going to be different and
Yeah.
amazing, and hopefully
Yeah.
all positive.
Right. Well, and I think there is a certain level of inevitability that it it seems like the speed of technology is being driven forward by something, the new thing always being bested.
Yeah.
So I think it's a safe bet that ChatGPT, uh, that someone comes along and does it better,
Hmm.
and then that probably means ChatGPT. I don't like the two options seem to be either gets absorbed
Yeah. Right.
by someone else
Hmm.
or innovates,
Yeah.
and then it becomes leapfrog,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
AI leapfrog.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I thought of this prediction, I was definitely in like hot take mode. And I think specifically what I'm thinking of is, you know, how like if, I don't know, you're at a conference or you're watching a webinar or whatever, even reading something in the news, if it's anything AI related, the speaker's just talking about how AI needs to be a part of your operation, whatever. Or the news article is something about AI. Chat GPT is the one that's mentioned, right?
Hmm.
You know, it's the one that everybody's heard about. It's the one that people have tested or toyed with, you know, whatever. Um, it's going to be something different next year is what I
Hmm.
mean. Like maybe it's Gemini, maybe it's something else. But that's going to be the one that's like that first example that people give because I think it's going to be better than
Right.
ChatGPT.
So ChatGPT is going to become the MySpace
Yes,
of
right.
AI.
Yeah, that's super hot. That's boiling hot take. Yeah, because I don't think ChatGPT is going anywhere, or you know,
Neither did
OpenAI. So
MySpace, bro. It's still
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Still out there.
yeah.
Okay. So mine, now I said I focused on positivity and I cheated with this one because I looked for what is positive because this is genuinely something I'm worried about. And that is deep fake technology.
Sure.
And where there are two pieces of this, two things I'm aware of, um, where I think we need to be very cognizant as consumers of anything. um, Number one, fraud, because we already know of instances of fraud, phone fraud, where someone who doesn't even sound like someone in your family, calls a grandparent and grandma, I'm gonna go to jail and you have to send me money. Um and uh now there's the ability, especially with how much people have their likeness and their voice readily available to other people.
Yeah.
There's this ability to actually deep fake you
Hmm.
and do that kind of thing. And uh I think that's scary, but there is a way it can be a net positive. The other part, speaking of the election, which you mentioned, um, I think anyone who is voting and everyone who is of legal age should vote. Um, uh, need to be much more discerning about the political advertising that we see
Yeah.
because deepfake technology is so advanced. And I think it dovetails with the fact that the way we have become accustomed to consuming video is that everything is fast paced. So many things are fast paced.
Yeah.
And so you won't necessarily have time in a 2-second clip. You will be left with an impression of what you think you saw, which could be true or could be a deep fake. But you won't have the time to have discernment in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that means the net positive for both of these things is that it builds this opportunity for us all to become smarter, to figure out what is, thinking about phone fraud and the other things that people could be doing with it. What do I have to do to protect the people in my family? How do I educate, grandma or my auntie or whoever it is and help them understand, if you get put in this situation, this is the step to take.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and when we think about political ads. And I think I you can do this with any ad, but I think particularly political ads because that all they so often turn around that cult of personality, and that's the thing that I think is most open to deep fake,
Yeah.
right? Um to paint someone as this, doing this thing or being that way, or just to manipulate images and sounds to
Right.
create this impression, even in very quick clips.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that that means that people who are consuming those kinds of things have a real opportunity to stop getting their political information from political ads
Mm.
and to start. Uh, I think I would definitely advocate for people find a trusted news source, preferably trusted and unbiased. And this is our opportunity to break out of those silos politically that people are in
Yeah.
and look for something that is truly unbiased, fact based,
Hmm.
and stop listening to your weird uncle at Thanksgiving for your political information. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of like personal work that goes into like remedying or preventing those situations that can cause people a lot of trouble, whether it's voting for the wrong person or being susceptible to fraud and losing a bunch of
Right.
money or whatever, right? So, um, yeah, the like diligence that people will have to take to yeah prevent scenarios or
Yeah.
um, recover while in them is going to be cranked up
Right.
with all this for sure.
And on a positive note, that means an expansiveness of our brains. That
Hmm.
means more opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I do think that there's this is maybe an example of how efficiencies in our life and in the world that can be created by technologies like AI and stuff can allow room for us to scrutinize
Hmm.
and to educate and take a break to do the things that we need to do to protect ourselves and all of those things, as well as just have more time to be happy and be
Right.
free doing whatever we want, creative, whatever
Yeah.
whatever it is that you do with that extra time that we gain by all this great technology. Some of that extra time might need to be eaten up by protecting ourselves from it too, or not the technology but the scenarios that can happen because of
Right.
its capability, so
Right.
yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you.
And kudos for the positive spin, because I'll admit, almost the whole time you were talking, I was like, "Come on, where's the
Yeah.
positivity
Yeah.
here?"
Yeah. I know
But
that was a tough
yeah,
one, but
yeah,
I have talked myself into believing it.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's legit. Yeah, awesome. Okay, number 3 already. Here we go. My third and final prediction is that AI, ChatGPT. We're just throwing all the letters out
Yeah.
today. Alphabet
LMNOP.
soup. AR, augmented reality, will be the breakout star in 2024. So, like ChatGPT was the thing that emerged in 23 and is what everybody was talking about. I think that it's going to be AR in 2024. And I think that that's largely going to be driven by the release of Apple's Vision Pro headset and Meta's platform, the goodness gracious.
Metaverse?
Well, not so much the
No?
metaverse, their headset. Why can't I think of
Oh,
it?
okay.
Oculus?
Yeah, right?
No, that might be another one.
I don't know. Whatever they're
Yeah,
doing.
whatever it is. That's going to get better. Gosh, it's really bugging me that I can't think of the name of it right now. Should have made better notes. That's okay.
That's
But
okay.
the Vision Pro in particular, I think, and really all of this kind of like AR experience is going to, I think it's going to change everything. And you know how much I dislike
Right.
saying everything.
Yeah, that surprises me.
I think it's going to change relationships, how we build them and maintain them. I think it's going to change the way we work for sure. I mean, like, there's a real possibility. Not this is very simple, and at the end of the day, not like earth shattering or I don't think anyway. like there's a real possibility that like people aren't going to need desks, right? Like
Mhm.
we may sit in a chair. People aren't going to need monitors. People are just going to be connected to a headset, and the monitors are in their reality, augmented and blended in with their physical reality, and create this like amazing virtual space for us to work in that's going to make what we thought was virtual work look like the Stone Age. I mean, I
Right.
think it's really got a big, there's a big chance for it to just absolutely transform the way that we do things, particularly creatives,
Mhm.
but really anyone, I think, especially when you combine that like mixed reality experience with things like AI. And,
Mhm.
I mean, imagine like the ability to sit back with this headset on, see your physical space, see the augmented reality and the virtual space that comes with it, and be able to like create visual stuff while also saying, hey, throw a prompt out there for AI to generate something for you to like help enhance whatever
Mhm.
you're creating. I mean, just like imagine what that might look like. And I think I can imagine it, but I'm sure whatever I'm imagining is going to be blown away by whatever the reality will be with it. So, um, I guess I'm not saying that we will see like a similar wave of, uh, change in the way that we work like we did during the pandemic or anything where we were really forced, like everybody was
Mhm.
forced to do, not everybody, a lot, whole lot of people were forced to change the way that they work. This comes at a cost, and this
Mhm.
can be a bit more of a choice. But I think that the people that have the means, because it's also not cheap, like the headset, the pricing starts at like $2,700 or something like that. Um, the people that have the means and that want that change and maybe have, a job or do something professionally that allows it to be incorporated into their work.
Mhm.
I think it's going to change their world. People are going to see how it changes, and people are going to want to get on board. That's probably my hottest take of my
That is a
three.
hot take. I have 2 questions for you. Number
I'll do
1
my best.
number 1, why why now? Because AR is something that has been like, I have heard the same things you just said about AR.
Hmm.
I don't know how many years in a row, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you when the first device that was going to do the things you're saying
Yeah.
came out. So why now?
I think that, and I'm absolutely biased because I'm a super user, but I think that because Apple is in the game and developed their own headset, I think that's a big part of it. I think that the experience is going to be like nothing people have seen before. Um, so that's one thing I think. And two, I think remnants of the pandemic, I think that people are going to be more open to it than they've ever been to it before. Like
Mhm.
the idea, like, I think once upon a time to think, how could I change the way I work to this completely new way? Like, I can't even imagine it,
Mhm.
and the advantage that AR has now is we've seen it. We've seen significant change in the way that
Mhm.
people work. It was maybe forced on us, and some liked it, some didn't. Some are still doing it, some aren't. Um, but I think that no one can deny that there was a significant change that happened. And I think that people's openness to the fact that significant change could happen again is something that hasn't existed before.
Mhm. And maybe the fact that more people are, companies have gone to a distance hiring plan, more people are working from home. Maybe that has pushed down this barrier where previously people thought, well, what am I going to do? Sit in the office wearing goggles?
Yeah.
What is
Right.
that? What is that? That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to be in the office and be around our coworkers and not see them because we're wearing goggles. Um,
Yeah.
as opposed to if you're at home and this is an augmented reality instead of, if you maybe are already alone,
Hmm.
it just feels more approachable that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that does bring me straight to my next question, which is what is your prediction then for what happens with dogs and cats randomly appearing in work meetings? Because I don't know if that fits into the augmented reality future. And that concerns me, I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
I just think there's a whole new world of possibility that can happen.
We have to get goggles for the dogs.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Um, I don't know. I think you could even go like a step further with this and you know, imagine what it looks like for people to not even have a computer,
Mm,
and this is the way that they work as, speech to text only gets better as that's supported with, AI tools and things like that. Like, I mean, everything that we type could be dictated. That entire dictation could be, edited and fixed with different tools instead of a
mhm.
keyboard and mouse. It's using your fingertips and gestures in a virtual space, maybe even your eye movement and things like that. And don't get me started on, adding a brain chip into the mix of all this, right? I'm kind of
Stop.
kidding. Yeah, right.
Stop.
That's the, we'll save that for the 2030
Okay.
prediction episode. I
Okay.
hope.
Yeah.
It'll probably be here before we know it. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe a hot take. Maybe that's one that will myth bust
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
easily next year. But I think there's potential for sure.
Cool. Well, I mean, it sounds like we're both sort of ending off, like capping this off with a hot take. Because
Yeah.
now, as you keep saying hot take, I'm like, that probably what this number 3 is. This is like, uh, this is the one that I was trying to employ the secret to
Yeah.
manifest.
Yeah.
um, and this prediction is that in 2024, Threads will find its footing. It will figure out who it wants to be when it grows up, and it will surge in popularity. Uh, it had this massive subscribing surge.
Hmm.
Um, I think, and we've talked about this before. I think primarily because they made it damn near as easy as you could possibly make it to
Right.
sign up.
Right.
Um, and as of right now, it is not even in the top 15 of worldwide social media most popular. Even though all of its cousins, brothers, sisters, all of the Meta products
Yeah.
um, are are there. Facebook is number 1,
Yeah.
which surprised me.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that it's maintaining that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And by a nice chunk.
Yeah.
So, now, uh 303 million? I don't
Hmm.
so as you can see on this sheet, it cut off what that metric is. But I can tell you that Facebook has more than twice as many users still
Yeah.
as TikTok, and I would have predicted TikTok was going to be. I mean, it's high-ish up on the list. It's number 6 out of 15,
Yeah.
but I would predict it would have been higher. Um, YouTube coming in second. Uh,
Surprises you?
um, maybe a little, but I have bias around YouTube because we stepped away from YouTube and a strategy with it.
Yeah.
So I don't think about YouTube that much.
Right.
And also PS, in my personal life, we probably watch YouTube daily.
Hmm.
So
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
yeah. Well, I think maybe it's more that I don't think of it as a social network.
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
um WhatsApp is third, Instagram at fourth. Uh so my prediction, Messenger at seventh, is that I mean, it seems clear that the Meta products, whatever people's personal feeling about Meta um, is, it seems clear that they have a magic sauce
Yeah.
with their products. There's something about them. I think that looking at this list, and I'll share the link to the article this came from. Um, the thing that Meta's products have in common is the universality of them,
Yeah.
and that it connects generationally.
For sure. Yep. Exactly what I was going to say. That I think is probably number one or two reason that it's
Mhm.
still at the top of the list, right? Like not every other, but a lot of other social media platforms, they came onto the scene whenever they came on, probably highly adopted by a certain generation. And then as that generation gets older, the generations behind it maybe
Mhm.
come on, right? And Facebook kind of had this interesting experience where it started, it's college age based, right? And then those people got older, and then it got opened up to people that weren't in college. And then it almost like spread both ways, right? The next
Right.
generation that came up, they were adopting it because, of course, everybody older than them was on it. We need to be on it too. But then also the generations that were older than the initial users were like, well, I need to be on it so I can see what's going on with my kids and my grandkids, right? So
Right.
that one really spread both ways, whereas every other one just kind of like levels up as people age.
Mhm.
I suppose the fact that they were the first, or maybe not. Back to MySpace.
Listen,
Way too many MySpace references in this
don't
episode.
listen. Yeah, don't sleep on MySpace.
Yeah, but one of the first, obviously the biggest, the one that had that big surge. That probably has something to do with their,
Mhm.
still leading the pack. I think another thing that's interesting about the list is just like the differences in the platforms, right? That are, in that top 15. I mean, Facebook is not YouTube. YouTube is not Facebook. Very different.
Mhm.
WhatsApp and Messenger, clearly serving a specific function, even though that's maybe gotten a little blurry as they've changed and adopted too. But, and, even WhatsApp and Messenger, like, there's I think the international factor of WhatsApp is,
Mhm.
clearly what's created their growth and sustained size and adoption and things. Messenger does pretty much everything WhatsApp does. Maybe definitely does more, but serves like a different audience or has a different like
Mhm.
use case for people. So it's just interesting to see that, and I think I don't know, it simultaneously like brings more validity to the people at the top of the list, and also like at the same time makes it all make sense why like maybe Threads isn't up there, or
Mhm.
I somehow am peeking at the note from across the way. Like why? Well, like why somehow WhatsApp is, what'd you say, number four, number five,
WhatsApp is number 3.
number three? Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. Guess where X is out of 15.
11.
So close.
Oh,
12.
12.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And Pinterest beats Threads.
Yeah.
Pinterest is number 15.
Maybe longevity has something to do with that,
Yeah.
right? And a niche. There's a niche there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Cool.
that's my prediction, is that they're going to figure that out. And I almost came with the prediction that was a non-prediction, which is either it is going to find its place or it's going to get
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah. Yeah. I know part of our little game that this isn't a game that we're playing
It's
today.
all a game.
It's all a game. It's all a game and a sham. Is not to agree or disagree with each other, but I have to say, your last one, I don't think that's happening.
No,
I don't think
you
Threads
don't
is
think
gonna.
so?
No,
I told
no.
you. I'm trying to manifest
Yeah. Hey,
on behalf of Threads.
you're doing great. Yeah. I wish you all the luck.
Thanks. Thanks.
And I wouldn't be sad, honestly. There's a lot of efficiency for people like us, marketers, that
Mhm.
could be gained if Threads actually did find its footing.
Yeah.
And yeah, just with everything going on with X and all of that, I don't know, it would just kind of feel good
Yeah.
to see it
That
happen.
that's probably the reason I want to manifest this,
Yeah.
because I never felt we really hit our stride with Twitter,
Yeah.
that we found how we needed to use it for the best effect.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't go back now to try and do that.
Yeah.
So Threads is sort of my next hope.
Yeah.
It being as similar as it is,
Right.
to try and find, and it is not because I think it is so valuable. Which, if you're listening to this and you are looking for marketing advice, I want to give you marketing advice, which is, don't think the way I'm about to describe this. It's not because I think it's valuable. It's because of the puzzle for me
Mm.
to figure out what I I don't right now, especially looking at that list. I can't tell you it's the right place for us to be because it's not even that popular,
Sure. Yeah.
but the puzzle of figuring out how to talk to that audience to the best outcome is what intrigues me,
Yeah.
and like, that's like that's a regret that I'm living with right now.
Yeah. 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 It'll be interesting to see if this were to happen, if Threads finds its footing, it'll be interesting to see how or why it happened, right?
Yeah.
Thinking of Twitter's growth, I mean, just very like specific uses for it. Some like highly popular champions of it, or like I don't know if you call them super users, like trending users, I suppose is
Mhm.
maybe the easiest way to describe it. I think of like you know f- what Jimmy Fallon did with it, to like create popularity for his segments on the Tonight Show, but by
Mhm.
doing that, created a ton of popularity for Twitter. And then, of course, people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and, other people with a huge following in the way that they used it, good or bad,
Mhm.
I think helped kind of like reinforce its popularity and create, additional usership and things like that. So
Right.
similar things should be possible with threads, right? I mean, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it is so similar, like the same things could be achieved. So maybe just some of those same like trending characters or specific uses in pop culture and things like that. Those are probably two of the most logical ways for them to get there. It's
Mhm.
just maybe getting the buy-in from those people or those companies to
Right.
actually use it and do it for it to really happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be working on in all of my spare time
Oh, great.
in
Excellent.
2024, just so you'll be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right. Yeah. No grudge there or anything. Got it. Cool. Okay. Well, hey, some awesome predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We crushed it.
Right. We did. Yeah. Well, let's give it a year. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It feels really good right now.
Right.
It's gonna feel real sheepish
Yeah.
at the end of the year.
Okay, well, let's wrap up and go into our something awesome segment where we share recommendations for cool things, great things that have happened, maybe even awesome things that we've experienced or read lately. And I'll kick it off. Um, what inspired the link that I'm sharing, which is a really cool story about some research that was done by Johns Hopkins about how apes can remember friends even if they haven't seen them for decades,
Aw.
over 25 years. Um, and, I think that's a cool reminder for us to all have from time to time is how the world is connected and how, our genetic makeup is oh so close to the rest of the animal kingdom, including our ape friends. But we can remember somebody that we haven't seen in 25 years, so can apes. And it's amazing and also kind of makes a whole lot of sense because we're so similar, right?
Mhm.
But what made me feel compelled to share it, besides just the feel good of that story, and like who doesn't love a good ape video, right? Where they see their friend from 25 years ago and everybody's happy. Um, it reminded me of an experience that we had this week with our daughter, who's 18, no, 20 months now. Um, and she was playing Guess Who with my wife, Katie. And just like first time playing the game, not really playing the game, just kind of like looking at people's features and matching it up with their names. And it was like one time seeing John, who has brown hair and glasses and a beard, and then seeing Nick, who has a bald head and no glasses, whatever. Um, so like Katie helped her identify these like 5 or 6 names, and then like on the separate Guess Who board, Katie would ask like, "Where's John?" And she like pointed right to it. Like after like one description of the person or one time like seeing the picture, saying this is this person. And then they went and it was bath time last night, so they went and Ollie got a bath. And then even after that, Ollie wanted to keep playing the game, and she kept like pointing out these people on this game that she had only like seen or met one time. So just like the to any time that you see like that development happening and
Mhm.
to see her memory like growing and changing and everything is just, I don't know, it's the coolest thing, and I think if you don't like stop and appreciate those moments as your children or people around you are like changing and learning and growing, I think it's really easy for life to just go by way so fast and like not appreciate like how really amazing it is,
Mhm.
the fact that it that an ape, an animal, can remember somebody that they saw over 2 decades ago. I mean, it's just so cool. And I don't know, maybe it's cheesy, but I think that like these are the little moments that like make the world awesome,
Yeah.
you know?
I
So
love it. And what better time of the year for a little
yeah,
bit of
right?
cheesiness?
Yeah.
Right. Now's the time.
Yeah, and taking in memories and
Mhm.
soaking up like people changing and all of that. Yeah.
Did you ever see the video of Robin Williams and the ape?
I
I
don't
think it
think
was an
so.
ape. I can't remember if it was an ape or an orangutan.
Okay.
Similar thing. He had met this primate
Mm.
many years before, and it remembered him. And
Mm.
it just like on top of the emotional baggage of now when you watch it, you're like, oh, Robin
I know,
Williams.
right? Yeah, knowing that he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. But to watch it, like it was like you don't see love like that. It had these beautiful, it must have had beautiful, fond memories of him
Yeah.
because it was hugging him and it was just gorgeous.
Okay. Well, we have to look that up
Yeah,
and
now I
share
have to
that link.
find
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Cool.
really neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So be prepared.
All right.
You're
Ready.
a fan of Robin Williams. To
Yeah.
just cry
Yeah.
because of him and a monkey.
Right.
So, my something awesome is all thanks to my perpetual habit of reading just the headline of something and then really incorporating it into my personality. It's a thing I like to do. To be that person who's like, oh, did you hear about this interesting thing? And then when people say, well, tell me more about that, I will say, I do not know anything else. uh, so I saw a headline. Now I actually have an article here to share. So don't worry.
Thank goodness.
I saw a headline recently, and I could not tell you. I don't know if I found that article. I found a article that supports what I'm saying. Um, that said that there are positive mental health outcomes from rewatching your favorite TV shows.
Mm.
And this is a thing. This is like we are heavily into that time of the year for me.
Yeah.
To just binge watch a whole, show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in case you're wondering, New Girl is what we're doing right now.
Nice. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so I had to go, I saw that headline and it's one of those, it caught my eye because I face a little bit of criticism for this in my household because I like to go back to like, I will sit and watch The Office.
Yeah.
If we come across one.
Yeah.
Or Parks and Rec or Community or, there are a lot of those shows that I'm just going to watch it because it's my favorite thing in the world. And it turns out there are a lot of good reasons people do that. And it's really good for us mentally. So I'm not going to go into all of the science of what I learned from this article. But the thing that I thought was interesting is it describes the fact that, human beings, because, as we were evolving, we didn't have the same protections that other animals had, right? We didn't have claws and scales and horns and things.
Yeah.
That is why we developed community.
Hmm.
And it was a protection against the elements. And so when we watch something that we get invested in the characters, shows that we love, we develop what this article calls a parasocial relationship. So it's a relationship with something that it's a one-sided relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you've developed this relationship with Ross and Rachel
Right.
from Friends. And in society as it is today, we have in real life relationships, but these parasocial relationships take the place of that full community feeling.
Hmm.
So it's this feeling of You have friends, you have family, but at the end of the day, maybe you go to your house alone,
Mm.
right? And that's when I am rewatching this stuff
Yeah.
because my husband works late.
Yeah.
So I am at my house alone. And so because we have streaming video available to us, we dive back into our parasocial relationship.
Mm.
And it brings us the positive mental health benefits of community. Or so I will continue to tell people
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
so that I can keep watching The Office.
True or not, this is great
This
information.
is my thing
No
now.
confirmation bias
I'm
happening
going to
here.
believe it. Yeah. So yes, I'm
No, that
going to
makes
share.
sense.
I'm going to share the article.
Yeah.
Made me feel really good to know that.
Yeah, I see a Time magazine article, so legit source.
So
and
it's
everything,
real.
So that's great. Yeah, no, that's awesome, and does make me feel like 3% better about, maybe 30% better about having seen The Office from front to back. I think 6 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's true.
Cool.
And this means you can rewatch Ted Lasso.
Yeah, that's a good call, and I kind of do want to. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I do. Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
See? You have a parasocial relationship with Ted Lasso.
The other beauty that comes with this is something that I'm experiencing right now is I'm kind of in between shows. Well, I'm watching Slow Horses on Apple TV, which is really, really great. But I'm watching, I don't know why it's one that I can't binge. I want to watch it one episode at a time. Maybe because I don't know what's next. So I'm slowing myself down a little bit. So when you get in that weird space where like, I don't have a new show right now or whatever, hey, just go and watch something that you've already seen. It's good for you.
Right.
Like
it's
Wheaties.
Good for you. Exactly.
Perfect. I like it. That's a great one.
Well, thank you. As always, listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We realized yesterday this is our 24th episode of the year.
Awesome.
So let's celebrate that a little bit.
Right.
Yay!
Yay. Woo. Cue the audience clapping.
Right. I think we can agree that's not.
Okay. It's not that. Not yet.
So we've made 24 whole episodes this year, and you can catch up on them if this is the first episode you're listening to. And this is our 5th season.
Yeah.
So you have 5 seasons, and listen to them multiple times because it will create a parasocial relationship with us.
Right.
And we love it. So you can always do that, create an unhealthy binging habit on your favorite podcast app. Or you can find them on our blog at exclamationqso.com/blog.
You got it. Well, speaking of celebrations, let's take this opportunity to thank our clients from the year. We've worked with so many great people in 2023, and all of our friends, QSO friends, credit union friends, small business friends,
guest friends.
So many great guests this year, right? So many awesome folks that we've had the chance to interact with in 2023. So grateful for that. Grateful for you. Thanks to all of you for listening. Be awesome, and we'll see you next year.
Woo! The Awesomology Podcast is a production of Exclamation Services. Thanks to Nick Mulliver for sound production and Kylie Ganther for our cover artwork.
Executive producers are me, Ben Bauer, and my friend Suzanne Campbell.